the Queen and the walking stick. Welcome to Mark and Pete Live. Well, we've got an interesting theme for today. So, Mr. Mark, why don't you explain it to us? What's this about the Queen and the walking stick? What's going on there?
Yes, Clergyman Pete. I've been observing the media, and I always like to see our royalty out and about doing good causes. And one such event was when the Queen actually marked a particular service of the centenary of the Royal British Legion. But what was odd to me is that the media seemed to be focused more on the fact that she was carrying a walking stick rather than the cause of the event. Now, this does suggest that, again, like a lot of the media, is focused on the wrong thing. And dare I say, the fact that she was carrying with a walking stick suggests that perhaps the implication that she's old and decrepit. Well, let's be honest, this is a person who's 95 years of age, served the country very well, and really what I really wanted to know is a little bit more about the British Legion and their cause. So it does just sort of question really about the idea of the icon of a walking stick, because it does bring this idea of sticks and stones. A walking stick is just the trick as your legs begin to wobble, but you'll feel sick as your bones click over every curb and cobble. Clergyman Pete, I wonder, as you're hobbling down the street with your walking stick, do we tend to associate people with a walking stick as being old, or should we be perhaps reevaluating this icon?
I think so. I think, yeah, a walking stick, if you see it simply as a stick that is used to bear your weight, perhaps you've got a gammy leg, or perhaps it is that you're getting elderly and you're unsure of your footing or ability to maintain your balance. Yeah, there is that side of it. But walking sticks or canes have been carried and used by people over many years, more as an affectation, a
Exactly.
sort of a part of your outfit is to carry a stick, because of course sticks are very, very useful, not just for bearing your weight but also for poking things, for knocking on doors. Think of Black Rod at the opening of Parliament.
Good example.
Is an interesting ritual
Ceremonial.
using a stick, and it's also good for swatting away annoying urchins and working class people who get in your way.
Absolutely, yes. I tend to do that every day.
Yes.
Yes, festered with these
Yeah.
people. Yes.
I think that is important, but it's interesting that sticks, walking sticks, canes have been a part, not only of fashion, but they're associated with certain famous people. I was
Oh, yeah.
reading earlier that Winston Churchill, the famous wartime British Prime Minister, always carried a cane, and he made it sort of part of his personality. He claimed to be walking with destiny as he
Yes.
carried his cane around, and so he was able to incorporated in as part of his persona.
Yes.
I suppose I'm just thinking people like Fred Astaire,
Yep.
great dancer, great singer as well.
Elegance on legs.
Very good, but yeah, he
Yeah.
also would carry a cane in a lot of his
Oh,
dance
yes.
routines. Of course, it
Yeah.
became part of the dance routine. In fact, some of them, he just wouldn't have worked without the cane. There was a bit of business with the cane, which made for a part of the dance. It gave
Yes.
something extra to it. So, I think. I remember a few years ago that there was a trend towards, when you were going to very formal events, wearing the smart dress code of a previous era.
Mm.
So instead of you going to wear smart, you might wear, these days you might wear a tuxedo, a bow tie, maybe wearing instead a frock coat, or a coat with tails on, and a waistcoat and a white tie, and carrying a cane, maybe even wearing kid gloves as well. So there's that trend to an earlier age where there was a little bit more style and panache, and that includes a cane.
Well, on a different level, it's interesting, isn't it, that some people actually collect canes and these walking sticks. And I'm going to give you one example. Now, a walking stick owned by Irish Republican leader Michael Collins was sold in Belfast for a staggering £52,000. Now, that was a price 5 times higher than expected by auctioneers. So in many ways, some people who perhaps were famous in history, or perhaps with the artistry in which the cane was made, can actually be something of value. So it takes on a different dimension, doesn't it, Clergyman Pete? That actually people are prepared to spend a lot of money if it
What
comes from the rich and
this
famous
is what I'm
or
saying.
infamous.
If the person concerned is associated with that cane, and we have, for those of you who are watching the video version, we have a picture of Michael Collins' cane, not Michael Caine's Collins. Michael Caine's Collins, that's a completely different thing. But Michael Collins' cane is a
Yeah.
picture of there, and with it is some provenance. There's a letter there referring to it, so showing that it belonged to him. So it's part of his character. You can prove it belonged to him. Then it's like anything else that has been handled by someone else. Though you can imagine with a cane, you can imagine the great man's hand, or you know, Michael Collins is perhaps a controversial figure. You may not think of him as a great man, but whoever it is, if it's someone, maybe Winston Churchill, you're more of an admirer of him, whoever, that you can imagine the person's hand gripping it. So if you can buy that cane, you don't just get a piece of history. You don't just get something that was associated with that person. You get to effectively shake hands with them through history, because you're touching a very personal item that they would grip in their hands. So you're shaking hands with them effectively. So I could see why, for a collector, this would be a very interesting item.
Yes, and of course, I come back to the artistry side, is that some of these canes are made from different materials. The one that you reference has a sort of a silver collar and tip, so there is a materialistic value to them. But at the same time, certainly when you think about, say, shepherds, they will be using canes, of course, and some of those,
and bishops. Bishops have a ceremonial
bishops,
cane.
yes, yeah, absolutely.
Crosier,
They're noted for a different reason, for gathering their flock. Different type.
Yes.
I throw that one in. But yes, I mean the fact is that I know that many of my own relatives have had canes and sticks. Certainly for those who like to go out and country walks. Now, for those who actually do enjoy country walks, a cane is actually very practical. Why? Because if you're sort of hacking down bramble, or if you're sort of warding off strange animals in the on your en route, it's actually a very useful device. It's also a very good pointer. So if you're following somebody and you don't want to get lost, you can point up your cane in the air to say, this is the direction in which we're going. So I actually see, you're convincing me that maybe the idea of the cane or the stick, the walking stick, is something that perhaps we should sort of consider a little bit more.
I think so, yes. Yeah, I think you could take well-known fictional characters. The Doctor House, the House MD TV series was very popular. A big part of that was that he used a walking stick. He needed it to support him, but apparently there was a surge in popularity in walking sticks. Because he was quite a cool character, so people wanted to be a bit like him. Let me see which other fictional.
Well, of course,
Willy
Hercule
Wonka
Poirot
in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He was
Charlie the Chocolate, but Hercule Poirot.
He was known not only for having a cane, but appearing to need it, and then in fact being able to dance and do somersaults. But it was sort of part of his dress, because he dressed in that sort of old world style, that elegant style. So yeah, I could. Do you know what I think? I think I'm going to get a cane. I think.
Yes. Well, interestingly, of course, when you think about it, you sort of loosely mentioned it before. I mean, there's Michael Caine, actor.
Yes. Yeah.
There's Cain and Abel from the Bible.
Yeah.
And of course, even England, the footballer, Harry Kane. I mean, it's the
Canes are everywhere,
is
aren't
there,
they?
as you say. It's all there wrapped up.
Well, I think
neatly packaged.
Well, I think it's about
walking with destiny, folks.
Yeah, that's about it for this week from Mark and Pete Live. I think it is great. I'd like to hear from you, gentle listener or viewer, whichever way you're taking in the Mark and Pete podcast. Are you going to get a cane? Just think of all the uses, all the things you can hit with it, and also you appear extremely stylish. I think both Mark and you're going to see us tip-tapping around town with our stylish canes. Even if it's just Harry and Michael, and we'll be doing that before long. But that's it for all from now. Catch you next time. Remember to like and subscribe. See you soon.